So, back in my parents' garage, and what I have here is a Rokman gas tank skid plate. Requires a body lift. It says it requires a 1/2 inch body lift, and it's going to give you 1.5 inches more clearance. More clearance around your track bar, shock mounts. We'll see. Chip bare like this, which, I guess it saves money. It's a skid plate. Wasn't damaged or anything, so that's good. So the reason I chose this one is because it was bare steel, and since, that saved you about $100, $150 depending on the skid plate. This one I think was about $230. It's 3/16 inch steel. I mean, look at these welds. These welds are beautiful. So it's significantly heavier than the stock one. You can see it's got the dimple for the fuel pump. So I'm scuffing it down to paint it. I'm going to use a Rust-Oleum primer and the hammer finish, which will match all the rest of my armor. So I'm in the process of actually scuffing it down using red Scotch-Brite. Then I'm going to degrease it and clean it and let it dry. So I have the skid plate all scuffed down, and I'm using simple green to degrease it now. I'm going to degrease it, wash it, and let it air dry. I'll probably wipe it down some so it doesn't rust. And then once I do that, I'm going to start the priming process. So here it is, all scuffed down and ready to be degreased. So I have the skid plate scuffed, degreased, and dried. I have it in the garage. You can see I've actually started some of the priming, and I thought, oh, I better stop. And so what I'm using is a Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer, even though it's not rusty at all, just for the protection. And then I'm going to use the hammer finish. So it's been like 40 minutes, and clearly it's too warm or too cold. So I had to get my parents. I have this little auxiliary heater my dad sometimes uses, and he actually hunts out of the back of this garage, and he uses that auxiliary heater to keep it warm back there. It's like a little insulated room, so I'm actually using that heater to help warm the skid plate / air. So that's where we're at right now. So I got my first coat of Rust-Oleum hammered in black on it. It's looking pretty good. One thing I like about hammered is the texture. Hides any imperfections. Let's say you're painting a skid plate that's been drug across the rocks a whole bunch. It kind of won't get rid of them, but it kind of hides them a little bit. It's cold out here. You can see I've got a heater blowing right into it. It's not blowing super hard. It's not causing any waves in the paint or anything, but it is heating the skid plate up just a little bit. Currently I'm just painting the inside. Tomorrow I will flip it over and I will work on the outside. So the inside turned out pretty well, and now I'm going to go ahead and prime the outside. You can see that I I taped up the holes so that I'm not blowing primer back over what I've already painted. Not that it has to be perfect. It is a skid plate for all intents and purposes. So, and here we are where skid plate is finally finished painting.